Hello, my friend. I'm glad you're here again. Take a slow breath in. Hold it for a moment. And let it go. Let your shoulders soften. Let your thoughts settle wherever they need to. This is your space. A small pause between all the noise. A quiet return. Today's question is this: why do we become warmer and more present when something painful happens, yet feel heavier when life is quiet? It's a strange contradiction, isn't it? You would expect pain to close us off, to harden us, to make us withdraw. And yet, so often, the opposite happens. Something difficult occurs, a loss, a shock, a moment of bad news, and suddenly we feel more awake, more attentive, more human. We listen more closely, we speak more gently, we reach out without overthinking. And then, when nothing is wrong, when life is calm, ordinary, uninterrupted, we feel heavier, less present, more distant from ourselves, as if the quiet itself presses on us. At first, this can feel confusing, even unsettling. Why should pain soften us, while peace makes us numb? Why should sadness bring clarity, while calm brings restlessness? But maybe this isn't a flaw in us. Maybe it's a clue. Think about what happens when something painful enters your life. Time slows down. The noise falls away. The trivial concerns that usually crowd your mind suddenly lose their importance. You stop worrying about how things look. You stop rehearsing conversations that don't matter. You stop drifting. Pain pulls you into the present moment with force, not gently, but honestly. There was a man who once described this feeling after receiving difficult news about someone he loved. He said that evening felt heavy, but also strangely clear. He noticed small things he usually missed: the way the light moved across the wall, the sound of breathing in the room, the weight of his own body sitting still. He spoke more softly. He listened without interrupting. He felt closer to people, even as his heart ached. Later, he wondered why he didn't feel that alive on normal days. Pain has a way of stripping life down to its essentials. It doesn't allow us to stay superficial. It asks something of us: presence, care, honesty. When something hurts, we stop performing. We stop drifting into the future or replaying the past. We are right here, whether we want to be or not. Quiet days don't demand that from us. When life is calm, our minds often wander. We fill the silence with worries that don't belong to the moment. We measure ourselves. We compare. We replay old doubts. We look for meaning instead of feeling it. The quiet gives space. And sometimes that space fills with heaviness instead of peace. Not because something is wrong, but because nothing is insisting that we be present. There was a woman who noticed this in herself after a difficult period ended. During the crisis, she felt focused, connected, purposeful. She checked in on others. She spoke honestly. She felt useful. But when life returned to normal, a strange, low mood settled in. She felt guilty for it. Everything was fine, yet she felt flat. What she didn't realize at first was this: during pain, she was needed by others and by the moment itself. During calm, she drifted back into expectations, self-judgment, and quiet pressure. Pain gave her permission to be real. Quiet asked her to face herself. There is also something else happening beneath the surface. When something painful occurs, our hearts open outward. We think less about ourselves and more about connection. We reach for meaning through care, through presence, through being there. Warmth becomes a response to vulnerability, ours and others. But when life is quiet, we turn inward. And if we haven't learned how to be gentle with ourselves there, that inward turn can feel heavy. Pain connects us to what matters. Quiet exposes what we avoid. That doesn't mean pain is better. It means pain is clarifying. There's a reason people often say that difficult moments show us who we really are. Not because they make us heroic, but because they remove distractions. In pain, we stop asking who we should be and start responding to what is real. Warmth appears because warmth is natural when we stop protecting our image. Quiet moments don't remove the image, they leave it standing. We also need to talk about numbness, not the dramatic kind, but the everyday one. The numbness that comes from routine, from repetition, from carrying expectations quietly. When nothing urgent is happening, we don't feel called into presence. So the body rests, but the soul feels unengaged. Pain wakes the nervous system. Quiet leaves it wandering. But here is the gentlest truth of all. Warmth doesn't come from pain itself. It comes from permission. Pain gives us permission to slow down, to be imperfect, to be quiet without explanation, to care openly, to feel without apology. When life is quiet, we often deny ourselves that same permission. We tell ourselves we should be productive, grateful, stable, fine, and in doing so, we disconnect from the softness that pain briefly allows. Imagine what would happen if you offered yourself, in quiet moments, the same presence you offer during painful ones, the same attentiveness, the same gentleness, the same willingness to just sit with what is. Not to fix, not to improve, just to be there. Maybe the question isn't why pain makes us warmer, but why we withhold that warmth from ourselves when life is calm. Maybe the sadness doesn't create presence. Maybe it removes the barriers that usually block it. So, if you notice yourself feeling kinder, more open, more alive during hard moments, don't judge that. It doesn't mean you seek pain, it means you respond to truth. And if you feel heavier during quiet days, that doesn't mean something is wrong with you. It may simply mean your heart is asking for the same honesty, even without a crisis to justify it. You don't need pain to be present. You don't need loss to be gentle. You don't need a reason to care. Perhaps this question is an invitation to bring the warmth of difficult moments into ordinary ones, to practice presence without urgency, to allow quiet to be lived, not endured, and to remember that the part of you that shows up in pain, attentive, caring, human, is not created by suffering. It was always there, waiting. Thank you for being here, for giving yourself this moment to reflect. Stay gentle, stay curious, and stay kind. And if this question spoke to you, continue your journey with us on Yarvan's Questions. More stories, more reflections, and more quiet truths are waiting for you. Take care, my friend. Until next time.